I know. But you know, we have regulations on things that market and industry would like to do. And yet we're told we can't do them because it's not politically sensitive. You can't irradiate food, it has the word radiation. Radiation makes me think of nukes, and I'm anti-nuclear weapons. It's like, you moron! You have a fish taken home, don't you? Well, of course I do. I'm a politician. Okay, well, you have a fish. I bet the thing passes through several filters, right? And I bet it goes through ultraviolet irradiating energy in order to kill the bacteria and break down their cell walls, doesn't it? Well, yes, of course, but I'm not eating my fish. But this idea that they can stand in the way of progress, which is the most appalling thing in the world. You know, you think of a car is actually relatively cheap. But think about how much money that is in taxes, and how much profit the actual company, the people who actually did the work, are getting out of it. I say this to people who are oil people all the time, the people who say oil is incredibly expensive, and it is. It's twice as cheap as water. Of course it's expensive. You realize 20% of the cost in a gallon of gasoline that you buy is pure taxes. And the profit margin for the company that produced it, they drilled it out of the ground, they got into a tanker, they shipped it across an ocean, they unloaded it onto a dock, they pumped it into a filling station, got brought by $100,000 trucks to a refining station, went through 5 years of refining with the most highly paid, highly skilled engineers and chemical scientists in the world, and got brought to your tank near you, free of fear that you'll get blown up injecting it into your tank. And they're getting 7% profit. The government makes 3 times more on gasoline, yet we complain about the companies that bring it to us. In college, we're taught that's a wonderful thing to do. How progressive, how enlightened are you? You know, because I didn't prepare much of anything, I was wondering if I could take a bit of your time. How many of you guys listen to Brian Sussman? Me too. I did this piece for him in Maestro. Oh, right here. Taking a siesta. It's the first track on that. I did this piece after I failed a physics exam. I was feeling so bad about myself. And I was driving home, and I realized, I almost hit myself. I said, what the hell am I doing being upset? You know, I live in the United States of America. With all of its imperfections, it's still the best thing that we got going. I said, I don't have to worry about roadside bombs, misfires as I drive home. I don't have to worry about the government coming and bulldozing down my house for arbitrary reasons like they do in Kenya. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I know I'll have a bed to sleep in tonight. I know I have access to 24/7 power. And I thought, you know, at my age, 19 years old, my grandfather was off in Luxembourg fighting against the Nazis in the December of 1944 in the Battle of the Bulge. And what have I ever done, sort of thing. And so I created this piece to sort of acknowledge what liberty is to me and the men who defended it. And when I say that sort of loosely, because you'll hear FDR in there, you'll hear Bush in there, you'll hear everyone but Jimmy Carter, Clinton, and Nixon. And the reason why is because for all of their misfortunes and bad doings in certain areas, they did get it right some of the time in certain areas. And so I only have them speaking on that. But this is a musical compilation / tribute. Brian Sussman calls it a historical documentary piece of audio. But please enjoy it. It's called In the Defense of Liberty, and the first voice you'll hear is General Douglas MacArthur saying goodbye to Congress after he was fired for attempting to win the Korean War. We'll just put it that way. So, one second, here you go.
Here are centered the hopes and aspirations and faith of the entire human race. I do not stand here as advocate for any partisan cause, for the issues are fundamental and reach quite beyond the realm of partisan consideration. They must be resolved on the highest plane of national interest if our course is to prove sound and our future protected. I trust, therefore, that you will do me the justice of receiving that which I have to say as solely expressing the considered viewpoint of a fellow American. I address you with neither rancor nor bitterness. In the fading twilight of life, with but one purpose in mind, to serve my country.
strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation.
And let me remind you also that moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue.
Our goal is not the victory of might, but the vindication of right. Yes to those, not peace at the expense of freedom. Some must have both peace and freedom. 1941. God willing, that goal will be achieved.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man.
We must not see malice in honest differences of opinion, and no matter how great.
All free men.
So long as they are not inconsistent with the pledges we have given to each other in and through our Constitution.
As a free man, I take pride in the word, Ich bin ein Ehrlicher.
You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth.
I just want to do God's will.
Let us go forth to lead the
Please allow me to go up to the mountain.
knowing that here on earth, God's word must truly be our own. No matter how long it may take us, we'll accomplish premeditated in faith. The American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
The resolve of our great nation is being tested.
Their cause
But make no mistake,
must be our cause too.
we will show the world that we will pass this test.
And we shall overcome.
I have a dream. My four little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Let us resolve that we the people will build an American opportunity society in which all of us, white and black, rich and poor, young and old, will go forward together, arm in arm.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we can have to fear is fear itself.
We copy it down, Eagle. Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place
None of us will ever forget this day.
to friend and foe
We
alike,
go forward to defend freedom
that the torch has been passed
and all that is good,
to a new generation of Americans.
just in our world.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers.
America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom
America,
and opportunity.
shown as a beacon of freedom and opportunity to so many who had come before. The beauty of this federal system of ours is in its reconciliation of diversity with unity.
Despite our differences,
I will be proud.
much more unites us than divides us.
You wonderful guys in battle
We are fellow Americans,
anytime,
and that's an association that means more to me
anywhere.
than any other.
I can hear you.
Let us stand with a greater determination.
I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people,
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
and the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us. We shall pay any price, bear any burden, any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, ensure the survival and the success of liberty.
Should the patriots at Concord Bridge